They grow up in the mountains. They're wild.
It's literally picking up money.
That's so much fruit.
Yeah. The shell is toxic. We don't touch it. You can't risk your life carrying 1 ton in those little boats,
In
right?
the little boats.
This one is real.
Carnage. Also in the same family as poison ivy.
Yes, it is.
Am I gonna be...
Yes.
We've made our way to the most famous destination in the Philippines. And while most come to Palawan for the geological drama, because let's face it, the karst limestone cliffs are undeniably epic, our curiosity in Coron came about the old-fashioned 6 degrees of separation kind of way. Oh my, what a place to wake up in. It is just stunning here. And let me tell you, we came in yesterday evening and dropped the hook in here. I was so nervous because from the drone's perspective, it looks like we have heaps of room in here and it was no big deal. But when I look over, I see these coral and I see these rock and it seems so close. Like that is not a lot of leeway if something were to start happening in here. In other words, it is the most thrilling anchorage that we have put this boat into so far. Epic spot, but we got to get out of here now because it is 7:30-ish and there are going to start to be tour boats lined up in here because it is a beautiful spot and everybody wants to see it. Fair enough. And we are going to get out of their way because otherwise I think they might not like us too much. We enjoyed it over the evening and in the morning while they were all gone, and now it's time for us to move along.
Is it a shallow area straight ahead?
Yeah, I'll get you.
We are motoring over to Coron town because, well, for 3 reasons. There's lots of really shallow reef dotted throughout this area, so we have to be really cautious. There is a ton of traffic. I mean, a ton of traffic. Right now it's early, but like in half an hour, there'll be hundreds of boats going in and out. It's pretty wild. And then we also need to top up the batteries, so that's exactly why we're motoring. We got it in hybrid generate motoring mode. So we're putting in about 200 amps into the battery bank, which we need because where we came from, it was really shady in those mountains. Oh yeah, Coron town's just behind me.
So there's a little backstory on why we're here, and it's a little like 7 degrees of Kevin Bacon, so hang with me here, because we sailed to Busuanga, which is a nearby area, to meet up with one of our patrons, David, who has his boat there, and he invited us over to meet some of the local community and his other sailing friends. Got to talking to some of the other sailors, one of them in particular. His name is Raul, and first of all, he has a gelato shop here in Coron town, which I was like, cool, done, I will sail over. Ice cream. But aside from that, he also talked about his cashew business. And I was like, oh cool, so you have a farm. No, apparently they grow wild here in these mountains and the locals go and gather them and process them and make cashew butter and so much more. I just cannot even wait to show you.
Breakfast time.
Morning. Leave you about the car. Okay, ladies, look after the boat while we're gone.
Something's going on over there.
Yeah, right?
Okay, here we go.
So where are we headed this morning?
Okay, we're heading to the east of the island. It's called Marcilla.
Marcilla.
Yes, it's a very scenic drive we're gonna do. Everybody believes in the island that the fruit, the nut from the seashore trees taste much better.
This nutty adventure wouldn't have been possible without the support of our sponsor, BetterHelp. And I first started using BetterHelp a couple of years ago, and I vividly remember my very first video appointment because we were anchored at Great Barrier Island in New Zealand, and I was sitting in the cockpit thinking, how cool is it that this is the world we live in? No matter where in the world I am, I can get professional help. And I still feel that way because I find immense value in setting aside time to speak with someone through therapy, because I have learned so much about myself, my relationships, and more specifically, just how much my inner child, the little girl that I used to be, still control so many of my reactions. So whether you're someone who has a clinical mental health issue or you're just somebody who needs someone to talk to, consider therapy through BetterHelp, because they are on a mission to make therapy more affordable and more accessible. And they make the daunting task of finding the right therapist much easier. And it usually happens within 48 hours, so you can get started fast. And what I like the most is that if the first therapist isn't the perfect match, then you can try a new one at no additional cost. And having someone you can speak to regularly and communicate deeply with is extremely valuable. So if you're looking for someone to talk to, let BetterHelp connect you to a therapist who can support you. And if you use the link down in the description box below, or go to betterhelp.com/gonewiththewinns, then you get 10% off your first month of therapy. All right, so we have arrived, and I will introduce you to Raul. This is Raul. And Raul, tell us, oh man, there's so much to talk about. But anyway, I guess, so where are we right now?
We're on the east side of Busuanga Island.
Okay.
Cashew trees grow here in the wild. All people have to do is gather, and they come to me and they sell it. There's so many cashew trees. That's cashew tree, this one, with fruits actually, and that's the fallen ones. Cashew, by the way, you can't pick it from the tree. You have to wait for it to fall.
Okay.
To make sure that it's ripe. You see, here, they took out all the nuts, but threw away the fruit.
The fruit.
This is what I want to process, because they can make money from that.
Yeah.
So this is how the cashew tree looks like. It's part of the poison ivy family. If you notice, everything else around is brown, but the cashew is alive because this is what it likes. You don't need to water it. They just grow on their own. This is the perfect plant for drought.
Yeah.
Like now.
But they're not native to the Philippines.
No, cashew came from South America a long, long time ago. They brought it here.
And it's all throughout Asia though, like, because I think it's Africa and Asia are like the biggest producers of cashews.
Correct.
But it is interesting that it just grows all over, and you just come out and you can pick cashews, and anybody could really,
Correct.
if it's in their backyard, they could gather fruit.
It's like literally picking up money.
Yeah, it is literally like picking up money.
So you see that they're just throwing away fruit.
Yeah, just looking for the cashew nut.
That's so much waste. And if we process that, the price of that is higher than the cashew nut.
Ooh.
See, it ferments so quickly.
Yeah.
Just been there for probably a day.
Looking for the nuts is a little bit like mushroom foraging. They kind of blend in, so it's like the fruit gives it away because it's brightly colored. Wow, look at all of these. But the leaves are also kind of all in that shade of orange, so I feel like it's going to take a little bit before I like train the eye to look for it. They're so fast, they're on it. Yeah. There's the fruit. Good.
Yeah. No, pick.
Oh, pick the ones to eat. Okay. Doing better.
That's just right here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Carnage.
The fruit is a little bit toxic, but only to those who have allergies.
Okay.
But the real toxic liquid is in the shell itself.
Okay. So right now, it's not really much of a problem.
No. Look, Nick's eating
I'm eating
directly from the tree. They just don't allow it to fall if they want to eat the fruit.
Okay.
like this, ma'am. We just wipe in our clothes and then we eat. Okay. Alaka, tinamaan mo na si ma'am.
Sorry.
So they said that there are trees that give really sweet fruit, and there are trees that that's not so nice. So they know which tree.
one?
Yeah.
Is this a good one?
Ito daw, this is not so sweet.
Ano na lang ng mga ano.
Wala ng prutas.
Kind of does that, like strips the moisture from your teeth sort of feeling.
It's weird, right?
Yeah, it is.
He just said it. It's weird.
It's just weird, yeah. It's good, but it's weird.
It's either you like it or you hate it.
I don't hate it.
Ooh, she's gonna let us try a sweet one later because this one is real.
There's a weird feeling in the mouth.
Yeah, the juice is really good.
Yeah.
It's like instantly dries everything. Yeah. Okay.
Then there are farms too where people plant and farm it, but this would really be better because it just kind of grows in the wild. No watering, no tending, no.
Yes.
It's
Well,
just the
the only
environment.
thing they need to do is clean around the tree. When it starts flowering, they start cleaning around the tree. If they have time, they will even prune the tree, so it allows it to start growing. But a lot of them just leave it alone and pick whatever they can because there's just so much.
Yeah. So how much can they pick in, say, a couple of hours?
We have to ask them that.
Okay, let's ask Nick.
Also,
Sometimes 5 kilos.
they're saying
Basta
that
minimum
it
is
can
3
range
kilos.
3 kilos and all the way to 20 kilos per day.
Wow, 20
It depends
kilos.
on the season, yeah.
Phew, that would be a lot of buckets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ngayon po kasi paano na siya, hindi ka tulad ng dati na.
We're in the east, and Nick is saying that the fruiting is going down already. But in another place in the island, it's just starting now.
We've got Nick here, so she is like your.
She is a counselor. She's a Nick. She's a counselor here in the community, and she organizes, and she's my aggregator. They're all locals from Marcilla. Their livelihood has been cashew, but of course, things change now, and Nick has a piece of Wi-Fi, and but generally, cashew is still the source of income, especially for the people up in the mountain.
Yeah, I bet.
So this tree has tons of fruit on it, and it is right by Nick's house. Just walk right out of her house, gather some cashews, make some money. So wild. Literally wild.
This tree, look, and it's still giving a lot of fruit, has been there, according to Nick, since she was born. So, and she's already 47. So that tree has been giving fruit for that long.
This is a good one. Stop picking cashews.
Yeah, it's very addicting, really. Oh, and you're saying eat it with the salt. That one is sweeter.
Yeah?
The salt is a good combo.
Works, right?
Still gives that funky effect of stripping the moisture. Yet it's so juicy at the same time. It's so odd. Wow, those are huge. It's so soft. Raul, that's so much fruit.
Yeah. And it's thrown away.
It's thrown away. So explain why.
There's no process for them to turn it into another finished product. How do we figure out a way to process this within an hour or so after it falls?
Because it ferments.
Because it starts to
that fast.
ferment. So that's the challenge.
And you said this is worth more than this.
Yes.
Why is that?
Because of the difficulty in processing. Yeah. South America exports the juice from this. And that's one of their bigger exports.
Okay.
2 kilos in 10 minutes.
So then, what did I do? I ate some fruit. I think I picked up maybe 10 nuts, maybe. Might be a stretch. I did not earn my keep today. But how much would 2 kilos be?
That's about 70, 75 pesos.
Finished product or as
No,
is?
no. As is, raw.
Okay,
Raw. 10 minutes.
10 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, you really could. It's not a bad living.
It could, especially here in the barrio.
Yeah, there's
Yes.
not much. Yeah.
And it's all natural, it's environmentally friendly. So
Hindi ko alam kung kaunin ko
it's a no-brainer really.
Yeah, and
And
like,
even kids can do it.
yeah,
Yeah, so during summer, the kids are out up in the mountain picking.
Oh man, I would have done that over Molons any day. And you get to eat along the way.
Nick is the aggregator, so of the community. Everybody brings her the cashew nuts, the raw cashew nuts, and then I come and pick it up maybe once or twice a week.
40 to 50 kilos in each of these bags.
Kaya mo?
Kaya, basta natin tagatulungan.
Everybody else is doing it.
All right, back we go. So this is Raul's cashew processing factory, and we are just making a quick stop so that we can drop off the cashews that we picked up, and then we're heading over to the water where we're going to meet a boat that has come from one of the islands, another set of gatherers who have brought over a load as well. And then tomorrow we're going to go through the whole drying, processing, and everything else.
What we picked today, from that fruit to what ends up inside this jar.
These are guys who aggregate from the different islands and they bring it to me. Yun yung mga nakatakip. They're coming from Linapakan, and that's quite a distance. That's about 40 miles. So, and it's in rough weather. So their problem is that they come in small boats. So Lardy is a boat builder, so I lent him some capital to build his own big bangka. So last year I said, here, what you need is a big boat. You can't risk your life carrying 1 ton in those little boats,
In
right?
the little boats, yeah.
So this is the boat they brought all of those cashews on, like that big pile, plus there's still more on this boat, plus all the people, 40 something nautical miles and 20 knots of wind. That's incredible. Some seafaring people.
Brave.
Yeah, that's why they're building a bigger boat, and that they're paying that with cashews.
We pay extra for their fuel. But I said, let's be fair and pay properly, right? Don't try to buy it really cheap. So that works.
Yeah, because I mean, that's quite the trip for them to have to load it up on the boat and come here. Very different versus taking the truck,
Yes.
you know, just up the road to be able to pick up.
Right.
Yeah.
So today, after we pick this up, they're gonna go again to the north and pick up more cashews, and they'll be back here maybe tomorrow, the day after.
Man, that boat with that whole family on there totally took me by surprise. I see why Raul was like, no, we will help you. You need a bigger boat. If we're gonna make this a long-term relationship, you need a bigger boat. Oh wow. Jeez. And cashew juice, and trees, and wild gathering, and supporting all these people. It's pretty impressive. Very excited to talk more tomorrow. So yesterday, how many runs did you end up doing?
Total of 7.
And how many kilos?
8,000 kilos.
8,000 kilos.
Yes.
In the back of that truck. That was a long day for you yesterday.
Yes.
What inspired you to get into the cashew business?
The pandemic hit Coron really bad. The community is 100% dependent on tourism. And when the lockdown happened, the economy just tanked in a day. We looked for a project where we can take advantage of the natural resources. The same day that the lockdown happened, I started Googling, of course.
Really?
You know, Google University always works.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, I don't know anything about cashew. I got in touch with the people who process cashews in different countries. And I learned about the technology, I learned about the science and the things that they do. I didn't have that much capital, so I put together money from friends and we put this together. When we got in, the business model was completely wrong. There are agents or middlemen who would buy really cheap from the gatherers and flip and sell to Manila 4 times the price. So I said, let's change that and let's do the processing here so that we can buy directly from the gatherers at Manila price.
So you're paying them what they would get in the big city,
Yes.
but you're doing it right here.
Here.
And you're cutting out the middleman who wasn't really adding any value
No value.
to the process.
Yes.
And so now those farmers are getting that extra income directly. So you essentially doubled their income overnight. Quadrupled. Wow, okay.
Yeah.
Quadrupled their income just like that.
Yes. They appreciate the fact that Coron now has a product that is a little higher value than what they were able to do with cashews before. So there's renewed interest in cashew because they're now getting paid properly.
And then for you, it's got to feel good.
Yes. If I buy at that price, that Manila price, I still have a little meat left to make some money. I'm still not profitable. We're on our third year. We're still not profitable.
New business.
I have to be honest. We're hoping that 2024 will be our turnaround year. And at least we could be cash positive.
Yeah.
Cross our fingers. So we plan to use everything and try to make money for the people and for us to use all the byproducts.
That is like the biggest benefit to me. I love that when something that was just getting tossed now becomes something really valuable.
Yes.
So that's exciting. Where do we start?
It's messy, okay? It's cashew season. We have tons and tons of cashew lying around. So
Well, at least
bear with us.
8,000 kilos
yeah,
from
at
yesterday,
least,
right?
We now have about 25 tons in the factory.
25.
Yes. The raw cashew nuts arrive. They come in these sacks. These nuts are not yet dried. So we sun dry them until they get to a certain moisture content. Higher moisture means mold.
Yeah, of course.
So we sun dry them for about 3 to 4 days. We store them in jute sacks. If you keep them in plastic, then it condenses and then mold can grow.
Mm-hmm.
So by doing that, we're able to store up to about 10 months.
Wow, okay.
Yes. Because it's a seasonal crop, we need to be able to store it long enough to cover the rest of the year. The next step is to sort them by size.
Okay.
Yes. So there's 5 different sizes. The process is so precise. We can't damage it during the shelling process. And the shell is toxic. We don't touch it. We use machines to do that.
So since you said that, the shell is toxic. Explain that.
Okay. The CNSL is very toxic, meaning if you touch it, you get burnt.
Okay.
It's become an occupational hazard for a lot of cashew processors around the world.
Is the burn more severe than like what you would get with poison ivy, or you think it's similar?
I've never experienced poison ivy, so I don't know. But when the pandemic hit, I was trying to learn. So I went to the communities and I looked how they did it. And I said, oh, they put it in fire and then it pops. And when it pops, it cracks open. Here I was, no knowledge about cashew. I was roasting them in the fire without a shirt because it was hot. Oh my God, the next morning when I woke up, it looked like I had chicken pox.
Oh no!
My whole face, my arms were dotted with burns.
So how did they know? Oh, I guess they just knew, so they stayed away from...
Yes.
Oh.
No wonder they were wearing long sleeve shirts during summer.
That's why they had so many clothes on. Yeah.
From storage, we now go into the first step, which is cooking.
Okay.
I'll take you there.
Which is clearly not over a big open fire.
No. We don't use fire, okay? Because we've learned. and besides, because the oil is toxic, if you burn it, all the chickens around will die.
Oh.
Yes. Whenever they cook the traditional way in fire, they make sure they're not in a neighborhood where there are chickens because the neighbors will get mad.
Oh, yeah, because then there went their dinner.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. So instead of using fire, we use steam. We generate our steam using that biomass boiler, using farm waste.
Really?
So, yes. Ichai has a farm, right? So,
Yeah.
So
Okay, hold on. Ichai is his wife.
Yes.
And she has a farm growing lettuce and
Correct.
calamansi, right?
Calamansi, yes.
Calamansi,
Yes.
yeah, which is like the local, it's like a little teeny tiny lime with about 9 million seeds. So Jason, what did you call it? Calamansi.
That's a good one.
But
So-
they are delightful.
So she has a farm. I collect all her trash, leaves, branches, wood, and whatever I can get.
Okay.
When the electric company goes around to cut the trees that are crossing their lines, I just follow them around. And I pick up all their wood. And they're happy because,
sure.
because they don't have to clean up anymore. I clean up for them. So
I love it.
we generate it using this boiler, which feeds steam to two of the processes. One is the cooking. We just put in about 300.
Oh, check him out.
What's that?
It's a big old lizard. Well, not a very big one. And,
Palawan
by Palawan standards, he's a cool lizard.
We pour all the cashew here. This is a capacity of 300 kilos.
300 kilos?
300 kilos in here. So the steam is fed from under. It's cooked for about 40 minutes. The only reason for the cooking is so that the shell expands and separates from the kernel. The next step is to cool them. We use natural cooling, so we just keep it out here. And these nuts were cooked yesterday. So you see they're oily. The shell expanded during the cooking. During the cooling, the kernel will contract. So it gives us a little more space so that when we cut, we don't damage the kernel.
Just this whole process blows my mind because I'm like, at what point, long time ago, did somebody figure out you could eventually eat this thing?
Yes. Yeah.
How they ever got to that point, I just don't know. But I know
Some people might have had to take the toxins.
I know. That's what I'm thinking. I'm like, how many people either died or got really terribly sick going through this process to figure out all of this for you? I don't know who you were, ancestors, but thank you.
Yeah, thank you. It stays there for about 16 hours. The cooked nuts will then be poured in this hopper and then will be fed into these shelling machines. That's the oil.
Wow.
Yeah. The nuts pass through this rail, and there are two blades at the end, a top blade and a bottom blade, which we adjust per grade. It's cut, or as it's being moved forward, it's being opened up, the
That
shell.
is hard to believe, actually.
We get about 60% whole. The rest get broken.
Even still, like that is some very serious precision needed.
Yes,
Fact
and with
that
all
this
that
mach-
gunk, it's tough to get it precise.
Yeah.
After we've shelled it, the kernel will look like this. It's still covered with this skin. It's called a testa. It protects
That sounds okay. Go ahead.
It protects the kernel from the oil of the shell. It's a natural barrier.
Oh.
So some people eat it with this, and I like it, but we remove it because people prefer the clean.
They think it looks dirty, maybe, or something.
Yes.
Oh.
But me, I like the skin.
Yeah.
I like the skin. Traditionally, what they do is they peel this by hand.
That's a process.
Once you do that, the problem is you're contaminating the kernel because there's oil here.
Oh.
So when you peel it by hand, then the kernel will be contaminated. We use machines to open the shell, right? The traditional way of doing this is to cut it in half. That's why a lot of the cashews that you buy are halves. When you do that, the blade goes through the shell and through the kernel.
Which would also contaminate.
Yes, correct. So we try not to do that. The next step is to remove the skin. The way we do it without touching it is we put it in a dryer, which is also fed by the biomass boiler.
Okay. This looks like a torture box.
Yeah. The steam is fed into the radiator, and then the fans blows and circulates the air. The objective is just to make this crispy and separate from the kernel. That's the objective.
That is just, it blows my mind. Like, and that's all just almost more of an aesthetics thing. Like people just have it in their minds, this is what they want.
Yes.
So, because it makes it look pretty and perfect.
And white.
And white. Oh my gosh. And so now it looks all clean and pretty. And all of this is just for that.
Yeah.
So, like, maybe we should all just be requesting the dirty looking cashews. And there's probably extra nutrients in them.
Yes, yes. The next step we do, just to make sure that it's not contaminated, is we expose it to humidity.
You dry it out, and then you dry it out some more, and then you wet it.
You wet it, and then dry it again. Okay, so we have a humidifying room. These are two fog machines,
Oh, okay.
like the ones they use in the disco.
Seriously?
Yeah, but we use food grade water.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So it is food grade. I was like,
It's
really?
food grade. It's all food grade.
It smells good in here.
See, it's almost easy to peel now. So we expose it to humidity for 8 hours.
Because that shell is crispy from in there.
From in there, we wet it a little bit, and then we dry it another 2 hours. And all we have to do...
And we wonder why cashews are so expensive.
Yeah.
Like, this is why.
The next step is to blow food-grade air to blow away the skin.
Okay.
So,
Air, I didn't even know that was a thing.
yeah. The FDA requires that anything that touches the product is food grade.
Yeah, cleanliness, which I get with food, you got to be really cautious about contamination.
Of
So
course.
I do understand.
Yes.
Yeah.
Theoretically, that process should be done, right? But it's never 100%. So we still have manual sorting happening for those that the machine was not able to do. Shells that have been cut, but the kernel did not separate.
It's such a tedious process.
Yes, but it gives work.
Oh, no, of course. It's valuable, and so it should be done, but it's pretty incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look at this shell. There's a 1 mm shell. That's where the oil resides.
All of it.
All of the oil. So there's a way to extract that. And that's valuable oil.
Why is it valuable?
Oh, there are so many applications for it. Japan is now making biodiesel from that oil. It's even used for melanoma now. Skin tags, if you put the typical ointment you buy in the drugstore, it takes weeks before it comes off. This one, you dab it on, and it's gone in like half an hour.
Half an hour?
Yes.
That is potent stuff, man.
Potent. We're now down to the kernel without the skin. The next step is to grade it by size. Not in the Philippines, but the international market buys by size. This is where it's sorted. The bigger ones stay on top. The smaller ones fall to the next level. The bottom tray catches all the broken nuts. We only sell whole nuts. The broken nuts is what we use for butter because we don't need them to be pretty.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we're going to grind them anyway.
Yeah, that's
So
perfect.
after all the nuts have been sorted by size, this is our first digital machine, by the way.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
It's a color sorter. If it's dark, then it's probably bad. There are 30 cameras in here and about 200 mini blowers. So it memorizes the position, and as it falls down, it blows to, oh, this one goes here, this one goes here, you know.
Theoretically, let's say 1 kilo. You start with 1 kilo from the gatherers.
Yes.
By the time it gets here, how much do you actually have left that's good usable?
Approximately 25%. So
Oh, that is, wow,
yes,
okay.
that's why the shell and the skin comprises 75% of the weight. So, and right now we're throwing it away. So one of our plans is to be able to extract that oil.
Get what you can
eventually.
out of that, yeah.
Eventually. After this, we're down to the raw kernel. It's dehydrated because of the drying.
Okay.
So it's
But
not
still a
cooked,
raw nut.
but it's still raw,
Holy crap,
but
okay.
dehydrated.
Another step, yeah, I know.
So those whole nuts will be packed into 10-kilogram bags and sold wholesale. When we started out, the local processors said, we're dead, we're dead.
Yeah.
Then when I said, no, we can supply this to you for this much, they said, really, we can buy from you and we can still do our products? Yes. So
you weren't ending somebody else's business by starting yours up.
no, we
You're
added
just-
value
you're-
to them.
Yeah.
We added value to them. So now they can sell whole nuts.
You're just making friends left and right.
And enemies too.
Sure.
Some people want to order whole roasted nuts. So we have a drum roasting machine, just like the ones they use for coffee.
I was going to say, that looks very familiar.
Yes.
It looks almost just like
it
a
roasts
coffee.
evenly. Once it's done, it's cooled here. Then this sucks the hot air out.
Also very similar to the coffee
Correct.
making process.
Correct.
Okay, yeah.
Yes. And then we now enter the butter line.
The butter line, okay.
Yes. So all the broken nuts are taken here. The first step is the grinding. This is critical. Naturally, there's friction and the temperature rises.
Oh, so
right?
you don't want to burn your nuts.
Not really burn it, but the nut gets to a certain temperature, you start losing all the nutrients.
Oh.
And secondly, the oil starts to separate. So what we use is a water-cooled grinder. So during the grinding process, we're able to maintain it at a certain temperature. And then it's pumped into this where all the other ingredients are mixed. We have 5 different variants of the butter. Vanilla, we have a chocolate variant which uses chocolates from Davao. So it's all local as well.
Jason's all lucky. Okay, and this literally just looks like an oversized stand mixer in a kitchen.
Correct,
Yeah,
correct.
Okay.
That's right. So once we've mixed all the ingredients, it's now put in this degassing machine. Basically, what it does, it's
Yeah, it does look like a still. You're degassing.
degassing, yes. Because
I didn't know cashews were such a gassy fruit.
no. What it does is it's a vacuum.
Oh,
So
okay.
we have to suck out all the air in the product so that it's solid. There are no bubbles inside. Because once there's air, mold can grow. We
Okay.
try to avoid that.
So this is not like ice cream. We do not want this whipped or churned.
Yeah. And then after that, this is a filling machine. We fill it with 200 grams of butter. Once it's done, we then vacuum cap it. This removes all the air in the bottle completely. So when you open the cap, it's like you hear that pop.
That means it also gives it a longer shelf life because, of course, like there are
Yes.
some places where you can go and get fresh butter, but it's just in a random container
Correct.
sometimes.
These are required by FDA. So we are an FDA approved facility. The last step is a sterilizer.
Ooh.
So all the bottles before they use it and after it's been sealed with the product will have to be sterilized. This is an FDA required step.
I guess it's sort of like canning, right?
Yes,
We would
exactly.
do the same thing
Exactly.
with canning. Okay.
Exactly.
Okay.
So that's it.
And that's
done.
it.
That's
That's
done.
it.
Yeah. That's the last step, and from there, hopefully, we sell, which I'm never good at.
The marketing starts.
Yeah, and then the marketing starts. Yeah.
Yes,
Wow. Okay. Yeah.
I'll take you out here where we sell our products.
Here comes the marketing part. This is
Yeah.
Yes, you have to go through this. So we currently have 5 different variants.
Which I want to bring up. Your name is Raul. So
Yeah.
why is
My
this
name
called?
is Raul Pedro.
Okay. I was like, why is it called Pedro's?
My wife decided, she's the marketing person,
Okay.
and she decided that let's name it Pedro's so that Pedro's becomes a fine food manufacturer. So you
Okay.
manufacture good gelato, you manufacture high value artisanal products.
And so apparently she
So
thinks
she-
Pedro is more qualified for fine foods than Raul.
Yes, obviously.
So exciting.
Exciting,
Thank you,
exciting.
Raul, for sharing all of this with us. It's been such a
I
fascinating
hope it
journey.
was clear.
Oh, I mean, I've learned heaps. Hopefully you have too. I just was so unexpected, but I feel like that is like, and all of this because you're a sailor. Like we happen to meet, and you're talking boats and because you meet, at an Anchorage with these other sailors, and it's just unreal sometimes the way the community works.
Yes.
And you just can meet the most fascinating people like yourselves, and then you invite us over to show us everything that you've got going on here, and it's very cool. So thank
And
you.
now I'll be on the internet.
I know you'll be on the internet. Yeah, exactly. So these are the kind of experiences and connections that we love the most and that we love to share the most because people like Raul and his deep desire to create a business that's good for the entire community renews our faith in humanity. And also, I've just never been happier to shell out some cash for cashew butter before. Oh my goodness. So thanks so much for watching. Oh, I don't know if I can get into it. Make it work for it. Okay. Oh my goodness. Thanks for watching, and we will see you in the next one. Oh, and if you want to see more of the world with us, then make sure and hit the subscribe button. And banana.